Breaking news! There's been a lot of buzz around the web recently, and we need to talk about it. I'll tell you all about it in detail. Before we dive into today's exciting news, be sure to hit the like button and comment below. Who would you like to see as our starting quarterback? I want to hear from you. Let's get to it. Good news, Browns Nation! Our team is set to receive a little extra help heading into the 2025 NFL Draft. According to Over the Cap, the Cleveland Browns are in line to receive 3 compensatory draft picks. That's right, 3 extra chances to bring in young talent to bolster the roster and hopefully turn things around after a tough 2024 season. Here's the breakdown. The Browns are expected to pick up 2 sixth-round picks and 1 seventh-round pick. These compensatory picks come as a result of off-season departures, including quarterback Joe Flacco and defensive tackle Jordan Elliott. While late-round picks may not seem flashy, let's not forget that some of the most impactful players in the league have come from these rounds. The key is to give yourself as many chances as possible to land a hidden gem. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. The Browns roster needs serious upgrades. After a difficult 2024 season marked by turnovers and inconsistent play, it's clear the team needs to make bold moves to improve. Deshaun Watson's massive contract isn't going anywhere, but that doesn't mean the front office is out of options. With the right mix of smart draft picks and savvy free agent signings, this team can rebuild quickly and become a serious contender again. The big question is how the Browns will use these extra picks. Will they target key positions like wide receiver, defensive line, or maybe even quarterback? Or will they look for depth players who can contribute on special teams and grow into bigger roles? Whatever the strategy, these extra picks give the Browns a little more flexibility as they head into what could be a critical offseason. One thing is for sure, the road back to competitiveness won't be easy, but it doesn't have to take years. A strong rookie class combined with a productive free agency period could put the Browns back on the map sooner than anyone expects. These 3 extra picks could be the start of something great if the team makes the most of them. Now, I want to hear from you, Browns fans. What do you think the team should do with these extra draft picks? Are there specific positions or players you'd like to see them target? Big things could be happening in Cleveland, folks. The Browns hold the number 2 overall pick in the 2025 draft, along with a total of 9 selections across multiple rounds. That's a lot of draft capital for a team at a crossroads. But here's the thing, a top insider, Tony Grossi, has floated a bold idea, one that could shake up the roster and change the direction of the franchise. Grossi believes the Browns could consider trading cornerback Greg Newsome too if they decide to draft Travis Hunter, the dynamic two-way player who thrived as a receiver and cornerback. Newsome, entering his 5th year, has shown flashes of brilliance but hasn't lived up to the potential the Browns had hoped for. And let's be real, his trade value isn't exactly sky-high right now. Grossi estimates the Browns could only get a 5th-round pick in return due to his contract and inconsistent performance. This potential trade scenario becomes even more intriguing when you look at Hunter's skill set. Hunter is a rare talent who can dominate on both sides of the ball, but drafting him would create congestion in the secondary. If the Browns draft him, they may need to move Newsome to avoid redundancy and clear cap space. But here's where things get spicy. Grossi suggests that Hunter's versatility could also make him a valuable trade chip, especially with teams like the New York Giants or Las Vegas Raiders. The Browns could use him as leverage in a trade scenario, moving up from number 2 to accumulate even more picks. That could allow them to address their quarterback needs later in the 1st round, say, around the 6th pick, while adding depth at other key positions. So what does this mean for the Browns' strategy? They're sitting on a golden opportunity to reshape the team, but the front office has some tough choices to make. Do they keep Newsome and focus on developing him further? Do they draft Hunter and use him to bolster the secondary, or do they trade him for even more assets? And if they trade down, who becomes the priority at quarterback? This offseason could define the Browns' future, and we want to hear from you. What would you do if you were calling the shots? Should the Browns draft Travis Hunter, trade Greg Newsome, or go all in on a different strategy? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's talk about a hot topic, Nick Chubb's future in Cleveland and what it means for our backfield. As we all know, the Browns have had a tough 3-14 season, and one of the few bright spots was Nick Chubb's inspiring return in Week 7. After undergoing 2 grueling surgeries and months of rehab for a serious knee injury, Chubb made his comeback with a short but powerful touchdown run that showed flashes of his former brilliance. That moment lifted the spirits of Browns Nation, but it also raised some serious questions. Can Chubb return to being the dominant force he once was? And if not, what does that mean for Cleveland's offense? Former Browns head coach Stump Mitchell recently weighed in on Chubb's performance and future. Speaking with Browns legend Hanford Dixon, Mitchell expressed optimism about Chubb's recovery, noting how much athleticism and determination went into that 2-yard touchdown run. I looked at that first touchdown he scored, even though it was just a 2-yard run. There was so much he had to do. He had to stop suddenly, make a jump cut, and then change direction again. So I thought Nick had everything he's done in the past. Even though it was a 2-yard run, I could see everything he did, Mitchell said. He praised the Browns' strength and conditioning staff for their efforts in helping Chubb get back on the field, but even Mitchell's optimism doesn't erase the harsh reality. Chubb has yet to regain the dominance that made him one of the league's best running backs. Looking ahead, the Browns' backfield is full of uncertainty. Jerome Ford has shown flashes of potential, but consistency remains an issue. Dante Foreman, a solid backup, is headed to free agency, and Pierre Strong Jr. hasn't proven he can handle a leadership role. That leaves the Browns in a tough spot, especially if Chubb can't return to form or if the team decides to move on from him. Pro Football Network is already predicting the Browns could address that issue in the NFL draft. In a recent mock draft, they have Cleveland selecting South Carolina running back Raheem Rocket Sanders in the 4th round. Sanders is another back in a class full of 3-down players, the scouting report reads. He's lost some power since his Rocket days at Arkansas, but he's a legitimate route-running threat on the outside with soft hands. Sanders also has impressive vision and contact balance. Sanders, who transferred from Arkansas to South Carolina for the 2024 season, has posted solid stats with 881 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, and 316 receiving yards. He could be a mid-round steal and provide the versatility Cleveland desperately needs in its backfield. But here's the big question, Browns fans, what do you think? Should the Browns take a chance on a running back like Sanders in the draft, or should they trust Chubb to return to his elite form? Let us know in the comments below because we want to hear from you. Before you go, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you never miss the latest Browns news. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Browns!